You are a part of me I do not yet know.
Love me.
A quote from Valarie Kaur's See No Stranger. For my first semester of college, I took my chances with a class called Wonder.
Love me.
I needed my humanities credit, and my advisor gave me 3 options to choose from, and I chose Wonder.
Love me.
But I didn't expect anything of it. After around a month of being in this class, barely paying attention, just turning in any assignments I needed to, my professor, Dr. Webb, said something that truly grabbed my attention. Without wonder, you cannot have empathy. Around September of this semester, I honestly was going through a lot. It was the start of college, I was adjusting to living on campus, I had been talking to someone and it got a little rocky, the people around me were not being the best towards me, and the worst part, well, my dad died. When I heard Dr. Webb say this in class, I felt the moment of silence afterwards. The air shifted as if it got every student's minds running. Our assignments for that week were to analyze Valarie Kaur's See No Stranger, specifically the first chapter titled Wonder, and write about ways we can relate it to our own personal lives. Our main questions were, how does having wonder allow for more empathy? Why is it important to have wonder for empathy? Within those assignments, I realized 2 key points of the Wonder chapter of Valarie Kaur's See No Stranger. In the beginning, Kaur was explaining the start of her realization that in order to have empathy for others, you need to have wonder. She recalls a Sikh origin story told to her by her grandfather about Guru Nanak's vision of oneness, in which a near-death experience gives him a different perspective, falling in love with life and humanity. Quote, everyone around him was a part of him he did not yet know. I see no stranger, said Guru Nanak, end quote. When he starts wondering about others, he is able to have the I see no stranger mentality, allowing for more empathy. She mentions that having wonder is a birthright, and once there is a lack of it, violence begins. Growing up as an Indian-American Sikh girl in California, Kaur experienced a lot of discrimination, getting bullied for her brown skin, racially profiled, or even told she was going to hell for not being Christian. When she would come home after being bullied, she would go to her grandfather and he'd comfort her, shielding her with love and empathy. He explains that you must wonder about others even when they lack wonder about you, showing them love and kindness.
Maybe we can still heal you. What?
Which brings me to my first point, the lack of wonder for others, the us versus them mindset. What exactly is the us versus them mindset? If you know anything about psychology, the human mind automatically recognizes patterns, so when we see others similar to ourselves, we group them into a category of us. But when these people don't fit within those guidelines, we categorize them as, well, them. However, like I said previously, this is an automatic response. As Kaur put it, this happens before conscious thought. Bringing back psychology, this is also known as a fundamental attribution error. People tend to excuse the us, but blame the them, creating separation and a lack of empathy towards others. Kaur explains a story from when she was in 8th grade in a school with a mainly Christian demographic. Her best friend at the time, Lisa, mentioned how everyone who wasn't Christian would be going to hell, to which Kaur has to explain that Sikhism is not a sect of Christianity. Lisa, though, tried to convince Kaur to abandon her own beliefs and convert to Christianity. Quote, as long as Lisa believed I was going to hell, she could not love me as before, end quote. Lisa essentially stopped wondering about Kaur, not wanting to understand Sikhism or Kaur's background. With having this mindset that the us, the Christians, are going to heaven, while the them are going to hell, Lisa lacks empathy towards others, placing blame and violence onto Kaur for simply having different beliefs. Later on, Kaur goes to a Christian church, meeting a kind woman named Faye. She was the organist of that church. After listening to Faye's music, Kaur questions, I just can't believe there's a God who would send me to hell. To which Faye replies, I can't either. I think there are many paths. Kaur finally meets someone who is accepting, welcoming, and opening to wondering about her. Regardless of Faye's religion, she allows herself to have the empathy to share with Kaur, letting her into that kindness. This encounter brings Kaur back to her original realization of wonder. You are a part of me I do not yet know, she recalls. Quote, we become what we practice, end quote. She starts practicing seeing others as if they were family, allowing herself to wonder more about them. In doing so, she claims, quote, wondering about others helps us to wonder about ourselves, end quote. Leading me to my second key point. Learning to wonder about oneself. With having wonder about others, you learn more about yourself. Why do we feel certain ways towards certain things? Where does it stem from? When wondering about ourselves, we become more aware of our actions and impact on the world around us. If we are aware of our actions, we can create a world with more kindness and empathy. Kaur reminds us, quote, it took an instant for my best friend to see me through the lens of a theology that severed our connection, end quote. If Lisa had wondered about herself, asking how her actions might affect Kaur, the connection might have been saved. She would have been able to empathize with Kaur. After Kaur met Faye, the moment of regaining the original realization of wonder, she was able to branch out and eventually preach in interfaith churches, places where each person leaves room for wonder about others, even able to share similar ideas. Kaur explains that often we are told that we just aren't enough, whether it be our ethnicity, our beauty, our strength. This leads to self-doubt and low confidence. If we allow for more wonder within ourselves, learning the parts of us that we do not yet know, we can learn to empathize with ourselves and show ourselves love and kindness. Quote, only when I could explore my own internal world without shame, the grief and rage I had suppressed, could I begin to love myself. End quote. Throughout this semester, I had encountered many different people who denied the wonder about me, which led to a series of negative events. But within that, I found people who were open to sharing their empathy with me, showing me kindness in times of desperate need. Allowing yourself to wonder about others does not need to be a big gesture. It can be something small. I had asked my roommate to stop using my things without my permission, as I worked hard to be able to afford some things, and if she had some empathy for me, she could have easily just stopped and apologized. Instead, she lacked that empathy and kept using my things, forcing me to work more and save more. I had come across many experiences like this, and after I had heard my professor say that line in class, I truly started wondering more about others and myself. As Kaur preached, if we practice seeing others as if they were family, just someone that is part of us that we do not yet know, we are able to empathize with others, showing compassion. In doing so, we can also empathize with ourselves and learn to love ourselves. We all have things happening in our lives that bring us sadness, grief, or stress. The world can always use a little more empathy and love for others. It never hurts to show kindness towards others and lessen the weight. Go wonder about others.